What would your message be to those who have been put out of business by this pandemic, especially the Black community?
Well, I think it is not unexpected. The African-American community really consists primarily of independent restaurant owners, and independent full-service restaurants are bearing the brunt of this. Some of the chains clearly have been adversely affected, but they're better able to withstand this kind of damage than independent. So we're going to see a much more significant effect on independents, a lot more closures, and that's where the majority of African Americans happen to be positioned who are in the full-service dining industry.
Yeah, no, we've also talked about the unemployment rate overall and how often the gains come at the very end of expansions for minority communities, and then they're the first to get laid off, as we've seen as well, when things turn down. Is there something you think society could be doing better on that front?
I think there are a whole host of things that society can do better on a number of fronts. I mean, to me, it really is encouraging to see how quickly, really astonishing to see how quickly a mindset that's needed change for a long, long time has in fact changed. And so I think as I look at corporate America in general, before we get to restaurants specifically, I think there are a lot of things that companies can do. It starts with removing a couple of things that, in my opinion, have been barriers to success. And so one of those is this whole notion of color blindness. If you're colorblind in a world in which how people are treated really depends on race, then you're not colorblind, you're really socially blind. So we've got to get past that. I do think as well, the whole notion of diversity has become a barrier. Diversity is critical. It's critical. It's critically important to have a heterogeneous company, a heterogeneous organization, a heterogeneous community, so we can bring together different perspectives and that way get better solutions and live better lives. But diversity can't crowd out an additional focus on the fact that race matters in America and that racism has to be addressed in a parallel way with diversity. In my view, a lot of African Americans have become very skeptical about diversity and inclusion. They feel it's been embraced as a way to avoid the tougher, more uncomfortable questions around race and racism. And so to that extent, diversity and inclusion has been a barrier as well. So there are a lot of things companies can do, but moving past those first two barriers, I think, are some important initial steps.